Good morning everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. It is Good Friday, the 18th of April 2025, and today we're off back to the International Stadium. It is Gateshead versus York City in the National League. So here I'm in Gateshead and going into this Good Friday fixture. York are in second place in the National League table. It is now down to 6 points. It was about 11 a couple of weeks ago, but Barnet have dropped a few points in their last couple of games, while York, it does have to be said, are in red hot form just now, and that was compounded last weekend when they picked up a 7-2 win at home to Aldershot Town. So they're scoring goals for fun, they're getting results, they're evidently full of confidence, and obviously with this being the early game and Barnet not kicking off until 5:30, they'll know that if they win this game, then they'll at least temporarily put the gap down to 3 points. But that kind of throws the gauntlet down to Barnet, doesn't it? I know Barnet playing Eastleigh today, who it has to be said probably at this point don't really have much left to play for, but I guess the challenge for York is the fact that they are playing a team that does have something to play for, and that is of course Gateshead, and we are in 5th place in the National League table following that 3-2 win at Forest Green Rovers last Saturday, and we are now in the playoffs by 6 points, so it maybe does give us a little bit of wiggle room, and we maybe could afford a draw out of this game today, but at the same time, obviously with, as I've just said, with this being the early kickoff, if we were to get the 3 points, then that maybe sends out a message to the teams beneath us that they do have a massive mountain to climb. And when you look at it, the fact that Altrincham, especially this weekend, have got to play Rochdale today, and they've got to play Halifax on Monday, so there is going to be teams around us that do drop points, and there's just absolutely no consistency within the sides we're in that pack at the minute. Obviously we had that pretty dreadful losing run throughout March, but April's come about and we've won both games. One of them we probably were expected to realistically against Dagenham, but I don't think many people had us down to beat Forest Green, especially away from home last weekend. But obviously, but for a bit of a nervy end, which we maybe brought on ourselves a little bit, it was all in all a very, very good performance, and we're going to need one today. It goes without saying. I think the way York have been this season, obviously it's goes without saying they've got one of the best strike forces in the league and that sort of thing. When we went out there on New Year's Day, it was actually quite a good defensive display from them, I've got to say. We just couldn't really find the answers to break them down, so we're going to have to be on it today. It goes without saying, but I think the confidence is there amongst us. I think it absolutely has to be on the back of last week's game especially, but for me this game, I think a lot of it does come down to the fact that the pitch isn't exactly in the best condition, let's put it that way, and I don't think it's really best suited to the way either side like to play, because I think you've got two sides here that like to move the ball about very high tempo. So I've noticed over the last few home games that's maybe we've maybe had to go away from that somewhat. So I think that could possibly even be something that plays into our hands, because whenever York have slips up this season, it's been because Hinchelwood has sort of tinkered with things a little bit, which is obviously the system that they usually go with is obviously very settled. So maybe he might have no choice there, and that could be something that works into our hands. But all the same, you know, there's absolutely undeniable quality in that side, and that is reflected in the fact that obviously they are still quite a way behind Barnet, but in terms of the rest of the league, they're absolutely miles ahead of everyone else. But nevertheless, I'm sure they'll be coming up here, knowing that it's going to be a tricky game for them to stay net, and they're going to have to be at the best in order to get the result that they won. Obviously, we gave them a game on New Year's Day, but it just wasn't quite to be in terms of the scoreline for us. But let's see if this one can be a little bit different, and we can essentially put one foot in the playoffs. So let's head on down to the International Stadium and find out how it all unfolds.
Of any kind, so if you see or hear anything which causes you concern.
So the teams are out warming up. York are getting ready in this half. Going to be in a all red strip this afternoon, and Gateshead are getting ready just over there. Of course, we are going to be in our white and black home strip, and the roofing structure is now gone altogether. They're obviously finding in due course whether they do replace it or not. But anyway, I'll see you when the players are coming out the tunnel and ready to start the match.
Are we in the lads?
Get it in the box.
Just done. Go on, John. Take another one.
That is it, man.
Oh, I won. It's not bad stuff, isn't it? Shoot! Whoa!
You start with that. How are you supposed to go?
Nice. Get up, Ken. Oh! Jump too early.
Okay.
Jump too early.
One.
Brilliant. One! Go on! Whip it in! One! Oh! Finish! Yes! Come on! Get it! Yes! Get it! Come on! Lift or left! Get it! Come on!
He's been good from set pieces this season.
So you get a quote when you roof out and Bob, will you?
What? Get it down.
Ha! Go on! Give it back, Timmy! Go on! Oh! Get in! Oh! Go on, shoot! Go on! Right.
Take 1-0, that's good, man.
All the way up. Happy in the slot. There they are. Oh no! Hey! Oh, great touch! Hey! Shit, shoot yourself, man!
Oh man.
Get it out.
What's Horn doing in the first place?
Get away, my friend!
Only ourselves to blame for that one. Just weak that.
Famous quote from Southend away 2 years ago. Blow your fucking boot out. Boot. Man. What's it about? Long time, man. Nah, blow your whistle, man, you dickhead. Have a cheesecake, I want it. Man. You're going away. They have the thing.
Half-time Gateshead 1, York City 1. At the start of the half, they didn't really have an answer to our high press, and it did feel as though it was only ever going to be a matter of time before we did manage to get our noses in front, and that came, I think it was 10 minutes in or something like that. Jovan Malcolm tried a bit of a flick, but that came back off the post, then it just came back out to Luke Cannon, who really couldn't miss from that kind of range, and you do maybe wonder, would it be different if when Terrell Newton went clean through, if they'd put that one away, would that have maybe knocked the stuffing out of York quite a bit, but as I expected them to have grown into the game quite a bit more, but from our point of view I do feel as though we should have dealt with their equaliser quite a lot better, I've got to say. That cross that came in the first place was stoppable. Then obviously we got a bit of a rub of the green with Ollie Pearce hitting the post from close range, but we never cleared our lines, and for me, if I'm being totally honest, the goalkeeper's probably got to do better as well. But I think all in all it's been a decent enough performance from us. Just a bit worried obviously now with Richardson and Grayson both on yellows. At what point do we stop risking them? Obviously you've got to bear in mind we've still got another 3 games to play after this, and obviously if we want to get something out of this game, then we can't afford to finish it with any less than 11 players on the pitch. But it's certainly all to play for. I think to sum up that first half, I think we had the better of the opening half of the half, whereas I think York have probably had the better of the closing stages of it. But as we said, we're still in this game, and as it is, this result wouldn't be too bad for us if it did stay the same, but I'm sure there's more chances to come. Both sides are struggling with each other's high press, so who can go on and eventually make it count?
No, man! Great ball, that was. That was one of the better corners we've taken. That's a good ball as well. Go on!
Here we go. 2 open, 2-1.
Stand him up. Save! Good block. Close him down, close him down. Well in, give it to him, give it to him! Well in, Tim! Right, Jonathan! Go on! Fuck.
good for the shot. That's it. What? That was great skill. Jesus sakes, Christ, man. Why so static?
Any number of them had the chance to just clear it, but almost probably let it go by. That was bizarre, that.
What? 5 minutes load time.
You are playing a minimum of 5 minutes additional time.
Full-time Gateshead 1, York City 3. We found out where we are today, and the simple fact of the matter is it, to be honest, doesn't really matter if we get in the playoffs now, because we're just not good enough to be able to compete in them. I think it'd just be a case of we'd go in them and get knocked straight out, and I'd be absolutely stunned if I was proven wrong, and maybe at best get into the semi-final, but that would I think be a bridge too far. So I think as well today I'm starting to see maybe which players I think would like do, you know, we should be looking to keep in the summer, but others that maybe we ought to be offloading. I mean, don't get me wrong, York are better than us. There's no other way of putting it, and they did show that. I mean, I think there was many ways that they showed that today. Obviously, they didn't get off to a good start at all, but they never really panicked with that. They just let themselves grow into the game. They knew they were going to create chances. They were always eager to capitalise on our mistakes, always looking to force us into mistakes, and they got the result I think that they deserved on the day. I've got to say, there's a few people saying it was never a 3-1 game, should have got a point, this, that and the other. If it wasn't a 3-1 game, it wouldn't have finished 3-1. It's as simple as that. Like I think the second goal, it was a breakaway, it can happen. We just got caught out a little bit, but the first goal and the third goal, that is amateurish defending, that on both accounts. The first one, as I said at half time, should have been dealt with a lot better. And the third one, my God, I'm absolutely livid about that one. I've got to say it was laughably static from us. Like, why are we just letting the ball go in, and why are we not trying to attack the ball, stop the cross coming in? Because it looked a simple enough ball to defend, or then obviously Fagan Walcott's arrived at the back post, totally unmarked, easiest finish of his life. It was absolutely laughable, let's put it that way. And let's be honest now, we've had 8 home defeats throughout the course of this season, and since New Year we've only won 5 games. That is not even remotely playoff form, and if we get in them now, then it has to be said it is by virtue of the other sides around us being equally as poor as us. I think since probably March, the sides that are up there have just almost capitulated. It almost feels like none of them actually want to be in the playoffs, and it does feel at this moment in time as though everyone other than York is just going to be in those playoffs to purely make up the numbers, because I just haven't seen enough from anyone to suggest that anyone other than York and Barnet are good enough to go up to the Football League. I think even with that 2-week gap between the season finishing and the playoff starting, I think I think York mentally and what have you have what it takes to handle that, and they'll be fresh and will have prepared properly by the time their semi-final does come about. Forest Green I'm not quite so convinced about, I must be honest, but as far as we go, it's been an absolutely awful second half of the season. We had a couple of good results granted, but from what obviously the games I've seen, it's only really been the Forest Green game where I've come away from it and thought, you know what, we can hold our heads high in terms of the overall performance. Dagenham, yes, the first half was good, but the second half was a little bit sketchy to say the least. And I think today obviously started on the front foot, fair enough, but as time went on, it became more and more obvious what was going to happen. Our decision making in the final third today was exceptionally poor, I've got to say. You look at when Newton was clean through, he probably had more time than he realised, so he could have even got a little bit closer up, even tried to round the goalkeeper. There was that one where Brandon Horton was on the breakaway, played the ball far too late. If he plays it maybe if he plays it a little bit sooner, then they were probably in and would possibly even go on and score. So there's little things like that, but I don't think even if we had made the most of those, it would have made much difference to the outcome of the game, because as I said, York in terms of game management and everything just handled it a lot better than us. Their substitutions were made to good effect, whereas ours we didn't make our first change until just after the second goal, at which point it almost feels like you're doing it out of desperation, doesn't it? So just a really don't get me wrong, I knew this was going to be a tough game today, but I think we to be totally honest, we didn't cover ourselves in glory within it, but that is that for this video, and I'll be back tomorrow with some East of Scotland League Cup action. So maintaining my tradition of going to Scotland on Easter Saturday, and it is Dunbar United versus Bowness Athletic. So until then, take care, cheers for watching, see you later.